Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Gigi in the 561. I'm Pam Barker. I have been away a lot, actually, since the beginning of the year. So I have let my podcast sit here and rest. We are approaching the end of May, and since the beginning of the year, 2025, we've traveled extensively. So I have a lot to talk about on Travel Bistro. However, I am having some equipment issues. um, so I don't know. Hopefully, we'll see how that goes. But thanks for coming back. I appreciate it. You have a lot of podcast opportunities out there, and I know that. Guess what? Movies have gotten really expensive. I buy a lot, I stream a lot. I'd rather have them, I'd rather own them to stream than to rent them. You go in and you to Amazon and Prime and you rent it. Yeah, I'd rather just buy and keep it, even if it's a clunker. But we thought about going to see the new Tom Cruise film, Mission Impossible, and the tickets are $20 each. And I just don't think that's worth it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Not that we can't do it, we can. I just don't want to spend that kind of money on a movie that I may or may not like with a lot of running and jumping and you know the drill. I think people forget the beginning of Mission Impossible, the TV show with Martin Landau and Barbara Bain. She played a character named uh, Cinnamon, I think. It's been a while since I checked that cast. But it was really, really clever. It was very clever. And not over the top, but they had good stories. They had, pretty good production. And I think people have forgotten that's where it all started. But the main thing is, it had the greatest theme song ever, and it still does. They still use that. They've tweaked it, yes, but it's still the basic thing. So, um, I decided we have, I can't even tell you how many DVDs, and they've been sitting in boxes. The memory boxes that are very nice and sturdy, and they're nice. And so I started trying to dig through those and find some movies on DVD that you cannot get on streaming. They're not available, and some of them are no longer available even on DVD. Believe it or not, you can still purchase VHS. That's, if you don't know what that is, it's a tape. It's an actual tape. You can still buy those. It's crazy. It's kind of like vinyl records. Everything old is new again at some point. But anyway, going through these DVDs, I found some gems. And so I started watching them. And then Gary and I started, my mate and I started watching some series together. It's been really fun because it's very, very hot. We're not traveling at this present moment. And we're doing some things around the condominium. And but we're kind of kicking back from the heat and humidity, and it's already ramping way up. We are in hurricane season, rainy season / hurricane season here in very south Florida, where we are, and which brings me to rental prices. You know how they're always doing studies, making lists, and I'm always talking about it. But there's a site I follow on social media called Florida Rising, and they kind of keep their fingers to the pulse of things going on in Florida. They do a pretty good job. They posted that 4 out of the 10, almost half, U.S. cities where rent has increased most relative to wages. In other words, it's out of sync, are in Florida. Jacksonville, Tampa, Miami, and Orlando. So that's what's happening in Florida. It costs a lot of money to live in South Florida. And home insurance is hard to get, if not impossible to get. And now we have some real concerns that FEMA is being impacted by the current administration for potential hurricane damage. We've always, like the rest of the country, relied on FEMA for disaster assistance and sorely needed help. And that may or may not be coming now, so I don't know. Uh, it remains to be seen. Um, I saw an interesting post about someone had on a shirt in Trader Joe's. We love Trader Joe's. And he said he had just been called out for his age by the cashier at Trader Joe's, and not in a nasty or mean way, but it's like when people call you sir and ma'am. Um, are these are subtle ways. People know exactly what they're doing when you're in a store, and people just want to be um, unkind or trying to show off in front of their friends or whatever, and they come up to someone and ask, if do you work here, do you work here? I mean, it's, and they do this a lot in high-end stores, to try to make people feel less. Why are we doing that these days? Why do we continue to bully? Why do we continue to be unkind? Why do we not say please and thank you and you're welcome instead of no problem? Why do we do all of that? Does it make us feel better? Does it make us feel superior? I guess it does. And that's, to me, that's very sad. But it brings me back to age. And there are so many websites, TikTok, uh, social media, people that want to be followed on Instagram, and not Facebook so much as the others, but they make money. They supposedly are content providers, and they make money. Some of these make a decent amount of money, and I'm constantly getting on my Instagram. My Instagram is really small because I like it that way, just like Facebook. I don't buy numbers. You can do that. And I constantly get messages about, let us help you grow your Instagram. It's like, no, no thanks. Those are not real. Those are not real numbers, but they look good if someone wants to collaborate or collab with me. Even so, even with my small numbers, I still get that. I get those messages to let's collab on jewelry. They want to send me jewelry. I'm not opposed to that. I love jewelry, but I don't. I don't use my Instagram for that. I will tell you about something that I genuinely like, that I purchased, that I really like, or someone gifted me or whatever, or I thrifted. I have a real fun thing now on Facebook. The tariff thing is up, it's down, it's up, it's down, who knows. But I created a group for my people and anyone that wants to be in it, really, called tariff thrifting globally. And what I'm doing is sharing thrift finds, and I thought it'd be a fun thing to start. You go out, just today I went thrifting, and I made a donation to a nonprofit, and I thrifted as well. I spent money there as well. Um, and then I share on it's brand new, so there aren't very many posts, and people are, they're maybe not so keen to jump in, because I think what we all realize about social media is people want to lurk. They may or may not want to jump in with both feet and go ahead and take a stand on something or make a comment. Don't blame people, but I just think it's interesting. Why waste time, lurking out there when you're not interested enough to join in. But whatever, to each their own. But this age thing with Trader Joe's, the whole ma'am, sir, do you work here? These are all meant to. It isn't saying, hey, you look really great today, I love that outfit, kind of thing, which I do try to do, by the way, when I see people. doing things I like. I comment on it. It's like, hey, keep that up. That's great. I love that outfit. I love the hair. Whatever. Compliments are hard to give sometimes. Uh, I had a return at Walmart today. I have a blog. It's called Gigi's Wine Shelf, and it's about inexpensive wine. And because I'm not a snob about anything in particular about wine, I think if you do blind taste test, people may or not know what they're really talking about when it comes to wine and being snobby about it. So, uh, a far cry from having a wine cellar. I do have a wine chiller, but it's my shelf. It's a shelf of wine, and so I was in Walmart and the grocery area, and I bought a particular wine that I thought was a good price on it. I try to keep the price at about $10. And this wine was, I really do like it. It's very, I drink Sauvignon Blanc. I like chilled white wine because I live where it's hot. And I thought, oh, this is such a good deal on this Sauvignon. And it's Ferrari. It's the name of the brand. We left there, did some errands, popped into Total Wine because we had a couple of other things we wanted to get there. And I checked just to compare, like, ooh, see what a good deal I got at Walmart. Well, I didn't. It was cheaper at Total Wine. So I bought it at Total Wine, decided to take the wine back uh, to Walmart, and I researched it first to make sure I could return alcohol. And yes, you can. And it's unless they've changed it from a few days ago. If it's unopened, an open wine, you can or liquor, you can return. So off we went today to return that, so I could buy the other wine, the same wine at Total for cheaper. The first thing was, well, we don't take alcohol. I said, yeah, you do, according to your to your website. Oh, this turned into a thing. They did refund it, but the girl that he called over to assist him could not have been more rude. So back to these, why can't we be kind to each other? But this age thing that people want to judge you. We had a conversation on a recent cruise about that. Gary had a birthday on it, and it was this fabulous celebration. He actually had 4 celebrations. And each one of them totally worthy, because you're not going to find a better human on the planet. So I'm just all for all 4 of them. But uh, the age thing came up, and I said, well, the thing about it, people want to know how long you've been married, when did you graduate high school and college, and this is their way to find out your age. And in America, it's to put you in a slot. It's like, okay, we're dismissing you because you're of a certain age. You're either too young, too old, whatever. You're not worthy. We're going to put you over here and out to pasture. They don't do this in Europe. They don't care. Young, old, sit around outdoor cafes in Paris and Avignon, different places in France. They don't care. They don't care what you do for a living. They don't care when you got married. If you're married, they don't care. Not married, living together, great. They just don't care. They just don't care. And it's so free, and it's so wonderful. But I thought about this age thing, and we talked about it on the ship of the cruise we just did of the Great Lakes in this country. That's why you're hesitant to share that sort of thing, because they turn right around and go, well, your opinion doesn't matter. It's not valid. And believe me, it happens in the workplace. Ageism is real. It is very real. So that's the only reason why. It's not that you really care. You're glad to be here. You're happy for every single birthday you have. Absolutely. But that's not the reason. So I thought, hey, in addition to my group for thrifting, what if I did another group? A group about, my wine thing is like how to stop worrying and love cheap wine. So how to stop worrying and embrace whatever your age is. I thought that might be kind of fun, because People will write and talk about age appropriate. It's either age appropriate behavior, hair, clothes, whatever. It's who made up these rules about age appropriate? Who said? Who are you to make up the rules for this guy who wants to grow his hair long and wear an earring when he's 80, or this woman over here who is 80 and wears her after 5 to dinner? Who are you who are we people to say what is age appropriate? Move on, have a seat. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you if you are that narrow-minded. Live and let live. There's a line in Auntie Mame. Life's a banquet, and most poor suckers are starving to death. And that's because they're so worried about doing the right thing that is acceptable to society. Stepping on the wrong side of the lane, getting out of their lane that they're supposed to be in, metaphorically speaking. Yeah, no, I'm not for that. I'm not for that. Fitting in, do you really want to fit in with that group or this group or that group? Do you really, or do you want to be unique into yourself? And if people like you, they do. And if they don't, move on. Move on. Thank you so much for joining me. Check out my thrifting site. If you cannot find it, it's a group within my Facebook. So let me know if you want to be a part of that. You just want to be a lurker, that's okay too. Lurkers are needed. There's a place for everybody, no judgment. But I'd rather you jumped in and participated. And I have in particular one from Indiana that I want to give a tip of the hat to for doing just that. Very engaging. Very engaging. Thank you so much. I hope that you will check out everything my partner does. He writes extensively for many things. Aqua Magazine. It's print and online. He writes fantastic travel stories for Aqua Magazine. He writes for Splash Magazine worldwide. He writes for all things cruise and our website. He manages. He's producer of all of my work that I do, whether it's a blog, a podcast, whatever it is, northpalmbeachlife.com, as well as our YouTube channel by that same name. So check us out everywhere. Travel Bistro, my other podcast, it's sitting there looking at me with an angry emoji face. You know that angry emoji face looking at me? I'll get to it. I'll talk to you all about some of our latest travels, and there's been a lot. We've met great people, absolutely great people, and that's what you do when you travel. And if you don't, you should. Thank you so much for being here at Gigi in the 561. I'm Pam Barker. I'm Gigi. Stay with me.